I'm going to give you 5 reasons to upgrade to the new Fire TV Cube from the 2019 Fire TV Cube or any other of the Fire Sticks. And that's not just because it's double the speed of the Fire Stick 4K Max. It's not just because it is downloading faster than the previous 2019 Fire Cube. It is also because it comes with a new remote. Let's check it out. So the question is, who is the new Fire TV Cube right for? It's right for people who has fast download speeds. So if you have a gigabyte download speed, you're going to be underutilizing that speed even relative to something like the previous edition Fire TV Cube or the Fire Stick 4K Max. And why is that? Well, that's because this uses the Wi-Fi 6E spectrum and it's going to be a little bit faster. I've been getting 30% improvement in download speed over my traditional Fire TV Cube, which came out in 2019, by the way. But I'm getting almost 100% or 75% over the Fire Stick 4K Max, which already comes with dual band. And chalk that up to just having a faster processor, chalk that up to having a faster GPU. And who else is this right for? Well, it's going to be perfect for people who want to get the best picture for their television. Because even if you have an LG C2 or you have a Samsung Neo QLED 8K panel, it's limited by whatever is being fed into it by the streaming device. So this is going to maximize the upscaling, so you're always getting the most beautiful picture possible depending on your internet speed and depending on the content. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you got a good television, you got a fast internet speed, the Cube might be worth it in terms of an upgrade. The new one will now come with super resolution upscaling, so that's going to even be better, putting it in line with the NVIDIA Shield. The new Fire Cube is really a marriage of this, which is the Echo Dot plus the Fire Cube 2019. The previous generation has like this mirror finish. There's no speaker here. It was a magnet for fingerprints. The speaker was just on the bottom. And you have your Alexa indicator light up here with your controls up top to mute. And this has not been changed. Now you get it with the fabric cover. So this is a speaker. You also get the LED ring that goes on all 4 sides here. There's no bottom-facing speaker, so now you have a forward-facing speaker, which means you're going to be using this as an Alexa. It's just easier to understand. And if you just take a look at the back, this is where the clearest differences are. A lot of the dongles that were required to fully utilize your Fire 2nd gen is now no longer required on the 3rd gen. So it used to be when you had the previous generation, you would have to add on a dongle in order to get the hardwired Ethernet port or a micro USB in. So you have to have this dongle. You don't have to have it anymore. One thing that the Amazon did remove is that they no longer give you an IR extender. So what this cable does, and you could plug this cable in right here. You plug it into the IR extender. What this does is that now suddenly I can place my Cube. I could hypothetically place it inside of here, and just because I have this little dongle left out, I can now control it using a regular remote. If you want to just talk about the Roku has a new 2022 Ultra, but the device itself is identical to the previous edition. The only update was they added the Voice Remote Pro. So the amount of RAM here is the same as before. The processing speed is faster than before, but you're going to have to let me know if you can tell when we do our test behind me. Do you think it's faster? So I'm going to toggle between all of the different apps using our 2019 Fire TV Cube just to see how fast it works. So we have it on Prime Video, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Prime Video, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu. So all pretty fast. And that's what I want to share with you. The Fire TV Cube, the 2nd gen and the 3rd gen, there's not a huge difference when you toggle between the apps, but there will be a difference when you actually open up the applications. It will open up faster on the Fire TV Cube 3rd generation, or the new one. If you want to compare it to the previous generation, well, that's going to be a much larger difference. The comparison from the Fire TV Cube to a Fire Stick is that since the Fire TV Cube has a faster GPU, faster CPU, and most likely is going to have more memory on a lot of them, unless you have the Fire Stick 4K Max, which we even have here. It still is considerably faster, not only when you open the apps, but when you toggle between the apps. So keep that in mind when you pick between the three. So we are going to test the speed between a Fire Stick 4K Max, a Fire Cube, which from 2019, and the Fire Cube from 2022, because which one's going to be the fastest? And this is something that I haven't seen a lot of people do yet, but if you try it yourself, and we have all of the Fire Sticks located in the same location, we have them connected to the same router, all 5G, and this is going to be on a gigabyte 5G modem. We're going to run a network download speed test. We got 196.65, so about 200 megabytes per second, using the Fire Stick 4K Max on a 5 gigahertz modem. Now this can support up to 4K video quality without interruptions. Yes, 200 is very good. So now let's try it on the Fire TV Cube from 2019. So here we are getting 286.17. So that is about 86 megabytes faster than the Fire. So we got 286.17. That's about 86 megabytes faster than the Fire Stick 4K Max. We're gonna run it one more time just so there's no issues. Maybe that was a bad test. We're gonna check one more time. We got 284.91. So yeah, that's about the speed we're getting. We're getting somewhere around that 280 to the 290 megabytes per second, and that's on the Fire TV Cube from 2019. So finally, let's try this on the new Fire TV Cube. The last time we ran it, we got 383, but let's see if that was a fluke. 456.69. Wow, I mean, this is crazy, right? 456.69. Run it again, 422.17. So this is not a fluke. We ran this multiple days in a row. We've checked it. Now, I'm definitely getting a much faster download speed using the new Fire TV Cube than the others, and that is substantial. We're talking 130 megabytes faster than the previous edition, and about double. It's about double, right? 200, 400, that's about double the Fire Stick 4K. That's crazy, that's crazy. And that's why you get a better picture with your Fire TV Cube, because there's no bottlenecking in terms of the data that's being transmitted into the device. If you're wondering, is the Fire TV Cube better than all the other Fire Sticks from Amazon? Well, let me get right to the answer. Yes. This is definitely the best one. Another feature that I really love that they added was they added that back button on their remote. So on their new remote, you know, more than the settings, because you don't have to go to the home menu there, but just going back. So let's say I'm in Netflix and I want to go back to Hulu. Before, you had to toggle between the screen, right? You had to go to the home menu. If you're on Netflix, you go back to the home menu and then find the app for Hulu, and then you could switch through. Now, if you just had the one open before, you can just press the recent button, and that's going to go take you to the previous used app or channel, and that's cool. Prior editions, the 2019 was so fast on its own. It was still at 2019 edition superior to the Fire Stick 4K Max. The 6E in my house, it's not really required. The 5 gigahertz and the 6E are about the same. I use a TP-Link 6E system, but if you have the Arrow or you have something from Netgear, it should still be about the same in terms of overall speed. So that's just going to be future-proofing yourself, because a lot of the new routing and the networking gear are using 6E, but will it make a difference today? Might not make a huge difference. Let's just talk about things that Amazon could have upgraded but didn't. They didn't upgrade the Bluetooth, so it's not Bluetooth 5.0. They didn't upgrade the Ethernet speed. So even though you can plug in the Ethernet directly into here, it's going to be maxed at 100 megabits per second. I was hoping that would be a little bit faster, but no. But the Ethernet gives you a hardwired connection, so it's going to be always generally delivering the fastest speed possible. And for most people, 4K, if you're streaming in 4K, 100 megabytes per second is going to be fast enough. More than fast enough for, I would say, everybody. But if you're now suddenly we get to 8K in the near future and suddenly streaming can deliver 8K speeds, well then you might have to upgrade this way down the line. Finally, let me just share one more thing. There's a lot of noise or a lot of people who are always saying, well, it needs Dolby Vision, it needs Dolby Atmos, it needs HDR10 plus, it needs HDR10. And I agree, you definitely want those features, especially if you want to future-proof. But what's the catch? You need a television or a television panel that's going to be able to deliver HDR10 plus. You're going to need them to deliver Dolby Vision. You want Dolby Atmos? Well, then you're going to need a Dolby Atmos speaker system to deliver that kind of a 7.1 speaker surround sound system performance to your ears. That doesn't mean that is not good in the future, but what it means is that, well, you got to get the gear that's proper for your equipment. So all in all, I think this is just a really good, fantastic streaming device. It's going to be great for a lot of different people, and a lot of people are going to find it's more functional because it has faster download, because it has better upscaling, and it just makes your equipment work better overall. And then if you combine it with the new design, all the new ports, the HDMI in and out, it just makes a good deal. So check it out. I think the Fire 4K Cube is a sizable improvement over the previous edition just because of the Wi-Fi and the new processor, the octa-core. So we'll catch you next time. This is David with the French Glow signing off, showcasing my new Fire TV Cube to you. Bye, bye, bye.